Hey, what's up guys? Steven here from Slab Dynasty, and today we're going to take an in-depth look at the new Evergreen Gizmo. This is a really interesting bait. I want to dive in, share my thoughts about this bait, where I would throw it, how I would throw it, the gear I would use to throw it, and then we're going to go out here and see if we can't catch a few fish on it. Let's do it. Alright guys, so in my hands I have with me the Evergreen Gizmo. Wow, what a unique bait this is. Really interesting looking bait. It looks, like a cicada or some kind of bug. It's a topwater bait, so this is designed to be kind of twitched along the surface. It's from a company called Evergreen, and Evergreen makes really premium Japanese tackle. They're a Japanese company. With any of Evergreen's baits, I expect high quality and attention to detail, and I think you get a good bit of that here. The body of this bait is actually made out of a material called elastomer. It's kind of like Elastec, which is found in the Z-Man baits. Really stretchy, really durable. You're not gonna rip this bait up too bad. You'll be able to fish it through multiple catches. It'll hopefully last for a while for you. So that's a good sign there. I've seen a lot of these soft topwater baits that have come out recently that mimic, bugs and spiders and things like that. They're really not terribly durable. This one though, really, it looks like a single molded body, and these wings, this back end, everything, it's very stretchy. You can't rip it. It kind of just springs back into place. So that's a really good sign there. The other thing is this has got a number 2 sized decoy jig hook. It's a super sticky sharp hook, and you can tell it's not cheap. It's a really nice sharp hook in there. So that's another just kind of aspect of quality about this bait. Now, one thing with this bait is it's extremely light. I mean, it falls well within to the finesse category. It's probably one of the finessiest topwaters you can possibly throw. It weighs in at only 1/10 of an ounce, so you're going to absolutely need to throw this on extremely light spinning gear. In fact, Evergreen has made a spinning rod specifically for this bait. It's called the Evergreen Combat Stick Gizmo, and it's a super light spinning rod with a nice little soft tip though to really help you cast this really light bait out, because I would imagine, we're going to test it out here soon, but I would imagine wind would really affect the castability of this bait and your accuracy. One thing going for it though is the body, I think, is going to lend itself really well to skipping. I think you'll be able to skip this thing well up under some laydowns. In fact, I actually saw a video of a guy in Japan. He must have been, with Evergreen. I'll link that video down below. But he was skipping this thing way up under limbs, and every now and then he would get it hung on a limb on purpose, and he would sit there and bob the bait underneath the limb or as it's hanging over the limb, and got a lot of strikes doing that. So kind of a unique way to fish this bait. It kind of gives that bug presentation of a bug kind of falling off of out of a tree and landing on the water and kind of struggling. So really cool. I think this bait is really going to shine when the fishing is super tough, especially in the summertime. If you've got calm conditions, clear water, and a lot of those fish are just feeding on bugs. Maybe there's a mayfly hatch going on. Maybe there's, dragonflies are mating. Those are going to be excellent times to throw this bait, and I truly believe you're going to get bites on this bait when you're not going to get bites on any other topwater or really any other presentation other than this really finesse bug looking presentation. Currently the Evergreen Gizmo retails for $10.99 on Tackle Warehouse. What I've got right here is obviously the killer bee color. Looks exactly like a yellow jacket or a bee. Currently they have 8 colors available on Tackle Warehouse. I'm not sure if there's more. There might be more directly from Evergreen, but Tackle Warehouse currently has 8 pretty awesome colors that cover the spectrum of possible colors that you would need. All right guys, as far as gear is concerned, like I said, this is a super light bait. It only weighs 1/10 of an ounce. So really I would recommend a medium light spinning setup. This is actually a medium, and it's rated a little bit heavier than this bait, but it's all we got right now. So we're going with this one. But again, absolutely a spinning rod, and absolutely something in the light to medium light range that can handle this super lightweight bait. And then the other thing is you want a good tip on your rod, whatever it is. You want it to be able to whip this thing, especially being able to skip it up under trees and stuff. You don't want your rod to be too stiff. You don't want that action to be too fast. So you want a little bit of bend in that tip to be able to fire this thing up under limbs and docks and things like that. And then the other thing I would recommend too is fishing this bait on straight braid. You know, that's typically not something you do with spinning gear, but I would recommend it. You want this thing to be able to pulse along like a bug, almost twitch in place at times. So you want to be able to have that really, really fine control over the bait. And braid allows you to do that, just to make those tiny little pops, you know, in the braid, just to pop the slack straight and give those really, really tiny little movements in this bait. That's what's going to trigger those fish to bite this. Fortunately, we only have this yellow braid on right now, so we're going to make do. You know, luckily this water's not too clear. It's pretty dingy this morning, so it's also kind of cold out. It's early fall. We kind of got the first cold snap of the year, but we're going to go out and see if these fish are hungry, see if they'll chop this thing. Let's go do it. There it is, guys. Fish on the Gizmo. And look at that, he absolutely swallowed that thing. Well, there it is, guys. We've actually been fishing for a while, and this is our first bite. And the thing with this Gizmo is it draws a lot of strikes from brim and other small fish species. This thing is so small, and it so closely resembles a bug or something on top of the water that, you know, it's attracting a lot of different species other than just bass. So if you've got a lot of brim or bluegill in your system, you might have to weed through a lot of those bites to get to your first bass bite, which is exactly what happened today. There it is, guys, the Evergreen Gizmo, catching some bass.